Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to once again cover the Steam Summer Sale before it ends, and we're gonna highlight some more game deals under $5. And oh my god, Mush, you're milking the summer sale. How many videos can you make? Well, guess what? I got another video for you guys. We're looking at deals under $5 and under $3. There's a lot of stuff, so let's get right into it. Got about 15 games here, and like I said, some under 5, some under 4, some under 3. We got something for everyone. So let's start things off with AI the Somnium Files, kicking off a Steam sale video with a visual novel. I'm sure 100% of you are going to want to check this out now, but really, if you want to get into VNs as a genre, I think AI the Somnium Files is a really good one to start off with. Hard carried by the main character, Guacamelee, an incredibly likable character and an engaging character as well. The whole story is quite good. A murder mystery with a really cool aesthetic and ambiance to it. Definitely a little bit trippy, but really did have a great time with it. Can be quirky at times, but a great story all around. $3.99 for AI the Somnium Files. Highly recommend that if you're looking for something story heavy. Obviously, as a story-driven VN, that's what you're gonna get. Next up, here's a throwback in a game that I feel like a decade ago, when it came out, it was talked about a lot, but you don't see it get a lot of attention. Dust and Elysian Tales, 75% off for $3.74. Man, this is one of the games that I played very early on when I got my gaming PC or got into PC gaming, and I remember being blown away by it from a visual aesthetic standpoint. It looks phenomenal. I mean, at this point, you might be playing the game and you might find it to be a little bit dated, but man, I still think from an aesthetic standpoint, it looks so great. 13,000 reviews, overwhelmingly positive and well-deserved on that. It's not a game that gets a ton of attention these days, but man, I think it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous game, and I would highly recommend you to check it out. If you're looking for an action platformer, you're gonna have a pretty good time with this one. $3.74, a great pickup there. Next up, we got Cat Quest 2, 75% off for $3.74. Cat Quest is always a pretty good time if you're looking for something to not take too seriously. Now, Cat Quest 2 does add cooperative play, so if you're trying to play a game with like a younger sibling or even a significant other that's not into video games, I feel like Cat Quest is a pretty decent time. I mean, these cat video games seem to be in these days. Stray doing incredibly well a couple of years ago, and Cat Quest finding an audience as well. I mean, it got a third entry as well with Cat Quest 3. They do have the Cat Quest trilogy with Cat Quest 1, 2, and 3 for $15.20 if you want to check that out. Cat Quest 3 is the game that's, hard carrying the price point on that. But $3.74 for Cat Quest 2. A fun game. Something to, be quite the contrast to, let's say, all the Souls-like action-heavy games you're playing. But, yeah, a fun time for sure with that. Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, 85% off for $2.99. You know what? Like, 95% of you probably own this game at this point. Probably even higher than that. But guess what? The 2 to 5% of you that don't own the game, you can pick it up. And at this point, the game is, 14 years old? So, if you got, like, a younger audience watching this video, Deus Ex Human Revolution might be a game they're not even familiar with, but man, I highly recommend you to go back and play through it. I talked about it recently, but I played through this game summer of last year, and playing through it all these years later, this game, from a design standpoint, blew me away even more than when I initially played it. When I initially played it when it came out, I was like 15 years old when it came out, and I couldn't really comprehend at the time, how intricate the design was in this game and how well of a layout the game has. But in terms of using the levels and the design of the game, in terms of offering the player options and how to tackle it, I feel like this game has such an incredible amount of depth, and playing it, 14 years after it initially came out, 13 years after it initially came out, because I played it a year ago, I was just blown away even more by this game, and it's a shame that we're not going to get another Deus Ex game, and, the story was going to get continued, but that game seemingly was canceled. But, man, I highly recommend Human Revolution. I think the game is just a blow-away game. $2.99 is a fantastic pickup on that. Next up, we got Guacamelee Gold Edition, 75% off for $3.74. An incredibly charming action Metroidvania, and I always say that Guacamelee is at the level of some of the best Metroidvanias that have come out, but it's just a case of Metroidvania is a sector of gaming that has so much competition in terms of high quality games that even though Guacamelee is a high quality game, it just hasn't gotten the attention that a lot of the other Metroidvanias has gotten. But, you know, over-the-top action Metroidvania, you play as a luchador, and it's got a lot of, like, spirit to it, or soul to it, evoking a lot of emotion, I feel, in terms of having a lot of authenticity to its design, if that makes sense. But, again, I would really recommend it at $374. I think it's great. The Darkness 2, 90% off for $299. This was done by One Digital Extremes, who are now known for all their work that they've done on Warframe. But man, I thought Darkness 2 was a really, really well done first-person shooter. Gruesome as all hell. It did, from my recollection, shift the tone a little bit from Darkness 1. Darkness 2 went that more action-heavy route, whereas Darkness 1, I did feel like, had more of an emphasis on the tone and the atmosphere, whereas Darkness 2 is just kind of this visceral, gory game. Still a lot of fun for $299. I would say that's an excellent pickup. Next up, speaking of gory and visceral, Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition is 90% off for $399. Bulletstorm, at this stage of the game, maybe some people will play it and the comedy won't really resonate with them. Look, it's maybe you could view it as a relic of a bygone era, but I think a lot of people would be all over a game with the comedy and the brashness of a Bulletstorm. And the gameplay, not to mention, is fantastic in Bulletstorm. Yes, a lot of people picked it up back in the day because I want to say it was the Gears of War 3 beta was just included as a pre-order bonus or something like that, or maybe just buying the game. But the game held up on its own as its own experience. The issue when it came out was it was $60 and it's like a 5-hour campaign. Like, yeah, bro, that's not going to slide. But in today's gaming climate where we do have crazy backlogs, and sometimes I think a 5 to 7 hour campaign that you can complete over a weekend is exactly what you need after you complete like a 40-hour campaign of an RPG or something like that. Sometimes that's what I like to do a lot of the times after I complete a 40, 50, 60-hour long game. I'll like to, you know, play through something that's a little bit quick, straight up to the point, and Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition will be exactly that. I actually did that kind of recently, and I literally used Doom the Dark Ages as that kind of game to be like a quick get in, get out kind of game. And Doom the Dark Ages certainly has more content than a Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, but still, it's not like a 30-hour, 40, 50-hour expansive game, and sometimes these are the games that are right up the alley. However, much like a Doom the Dark Ages, you know, a higher price point for these games sometimes are an issue. Bulletstorm here at $4, I think is a great pickup, so definitely would recommend that. Next up, Resident Evil 5, 75% off for $4.99. I'm sure RE5 is going to get a remake at some point, but I think it's going to be a ways away, given that you've got the Code Veronica X remake that's happening. Resident Evil 9 is going to be next year, so yeah, if you're trying to wait until 2031 for Resident Evil 5 to get a remake, yeah, I guess you could wait for that, but I would just say, you know, pick up Resident Evil 5. It's still a worthwhile game to go through, and even though it's 16 years old at this point, there's certainly some fun to be had with RE5. I know back in the day, and even probably to this day, a big issue was the AI. Yeah, the AI was an atrocity, but certainly some fun to be had with this. Now, Resident Evil 5 came out right after RE4 and certainly pushed the Resident Evil going more action-y element of RE, which necessarily wasn't a terrible thing. I thought RE5 still was a quality game, but yeah, something to be mindful of. $4.99 for it, I think, is a great deal. Next up, Transistor, 80% off for $3.99. You know, these days, Supergiant Games gets a lot of attention for Hades, Hades 2 in early access, but their early games are bangers. You know, maybe not at the level of Hades for some people, but I thought Transistor was an incredibly well-done game. The aesthetic to the game I thought was tremendous. The story was quite good, and I really liked the visual style and soundtrack to it as well. Gameplay was a little bit out there, but I still thought it was fairly well done, and I think for $3.99, it's a great pickup. Definitely would recommend it, and you know, check out this, check out Bastion, check out Pyre. Supergiant Games has done some great work for north of, you know, a decade at this point, well over a decade. So, yeah, show them some love. $3.99 for Transistor is great. Child of Light from our favorite publisher of Ubisoft, 70% off for $4.49. Look, it is a Ubisoft game, but this is one of the better Ubisoft games that you'll come across. A coming-of-age turn-based RPG, not super lengthy, but what a beautiful game. Great visual aesthetic, great soundtrack. Fairly basic from a gameplay standpoint, but the story is quite good, and I think aesthetically this game is gorgeous. So $4.49 on that is quite good. My Friend Pedro, an absolutely chaotic action shooter. Over the top, zany as all hell, but a fun time as well. Another game that's fairly quick to get in and get out, and a worthwhile game for sure for the price point of $3.99. Next up, we got Call of Juarez Gunslinger, 80% off for $2.99. A super underrated Western FPS done by Techland, developers of Dying Light, and yeah, I love the Wild West theme, as a lot of you guys have come to realize. But yeah, I thought this was a fairly good game. It was a budget game when it came out, but a worthwhile, you know, shorter experience here as well that you can get in, play through, even in a sitting, and then you can just move on from it, but worthwhile at a $3 price point for sure. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, 90% off for $3.99, done by One Mimimi Games that unfortunately they're not doing any more games. Game development is a crazy world, as Microsoft has showcased in recent weeks, but Shadow Tactics was an incredibly well-done game, a tactics title in the Edo Japan period, and they do that setting so well. That setting I'm a sucker for, as some of you guys know, and even though I'm not crazy about tactics games, I thought Shadow Tactics was a really, really well-done game, and at this price point, definitely worth a pickup, and if you're into tactics games, you'll definitely really enjoy it. And then finally, Ori and the Blind Forest is $3.99. Ori is a tremendous game. I know Moon Studios has kind of been out there, you know, being a little wild recently as far as some of their statements and some of the people over at Moon Studios, but that doesn't change the fact that Ori and the Blind Forest and Will of the Wisps were absolutely tremendous games, and Ori is just a gorgeous game, a beautiful game from a visual aesthetic standpoint, and emotionally moving, great soundtrack, and the gameplay is pretty solid as well. So at this price point, definitely worth a mention as well. But that is going to do it for me. Again, this is another video covering the summer sale as it is wrapping up. There's a lot of great stuff discounted, and you know what? I haven't mentioned Enslaved Odyssey to the West yet, so maybe we got to do one more video so I can give that banger of a game a shout. But that'll do it for me. Links to all of these, as always, in the description box below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.